Hello, I'm Mystic Flower, and today's video is going to be all about smudging. I'll try to be as thorough as possible by giving you 10 different items that you could use for smudging and the reason and occasion that you will use them for. Now I'm going to start with the most popular one of them all, and that is sage. Now a lot of people know that sage is used for spiritual cleansing of a house or of yourself, but what they do not know is some of the research study that they have done on sage. In 2007, they did a study where they have shown that burning sage for an hour actually reduced 94% of bacteria, aerial bacteria. And then the effect lasted 24 hours afterward. So this stuff is way better than Lysol. Not only does it help your household have less common cold, less sickness if you continually practice this around your home, saging your home. It also found that the research says that it was antimicrobial and antibacterial. So not too many items do have that wonderful effect. So this is not only something that's good for your health, it's also good for your spiritual health because the essence, the smell of sage also help with your relaxing your mind. Now, sage has also been used for house cleaning for unwanted entity, spirit, ghosts, you may call them. And the reason why is because sage, burning sage, it affects the positive ion on the air. What happened with a negative entity, they cannot withstand being in that positive ion. And so that's why a lot of time when people sage the home, they have a reduction of these supernatural occurrence that happens from a ghost or happen from an unwanted entity because they cannot inhibit in this positive atmosphere. Now, how often would you want to sage? You could sage every single day. That's no problem. Or you could sage as little as you want. You could say once a year, once a month, as often as you want. But if you do this every day, know that it will have other effects on your household. Not only is it antimicrobial, antibacterial, but it also affects the ion on the air. And so it could help dissipate a lot of the negative thought settle also in that area. And so with sage, they come normally how you will buy them. You could it's harder to find nowadays in a store, so unless you have sometime health food store might have some sage in bundles. New age bookstores also sells them, but the best way to find them is on the internet. And the reason why is because on the internet you're gonna have way more selection of different sage type. There's white sage, there's sage from California, there's all different area, and but the main effect, the sage does the same thing. Now in some area, people have sage growing just as wild as weed, and you could just go out and pick it. Now to have it in a bundle, you would just grab a whole bunch and wrap it together. But most chances you won't have to do this for yourself. You know, you buy it already prepared. Now I use the bundle only if I'm doing a house, a large area. But when it comes to myself, to saging myself, you could actually take it apart and break it into loose ends. I have some here into loose end, and what I do is I would light it up. So you could use your this is probably the most handy way to light it, you know, because it's longer, it's thick, and that's one way to light it. So I light the small one, and I use the small one on myself without having to burn the whole tip of a little one when you just need a just for yourself. On doing it yourself, I start from the top of my head so I could cover a large area. I go over my arm, both arm, and then I go over the center of my body. Don't forget your back. You do your back also, and you go all the way to your feet. Don't forget to cover your feet. You basically want to cover yourself from head to toe. Now with sage, there is fans that you could use to help fan yourself, and I have a few here that I'm going to show you. Now this one is a turkey feather, and I did this one myself, and I just used some leather and wrap some cord in it, and this single one is just best for yourself. Little small area, that's all it's gonna cover. Little small area, and you could direct better the direction that the smoke will be burning. And so that is for the single ones. I have my medium sized one. Now this one was actually made by an artist in Etsy, and Etsy does craft. Is catered more for artists that does craft. I also sell my jewelries that I make, and I offer it there. So all my videos and tips, I offer them for free because I want to help others learn more and benefit from natural remedies. And so, but I actually make my living out of making craft on Etsy. So I will put the link below there, and I give you an invitation to come and visit my store and do buy something from me, because I do make my living out of making craft. But the videos I do out of love for you, and just to because I care about other people and I want to share my knowledge with other people. So this one was made also with feather, different feather, and she wrapped it in leather, and she gave it little details so beautiful where she put a labradorite stone there, and I'll see if you could look at it a little bit better. And then at the end, this is unusual, she put a quartz crystal at the end so it could direct the energy flowing through it, the fan. So this is actually one of my favorite ones when I'm doing it for myself. And it's a medium size. This is the single feather, and this is more of a medium size. Now I have made some of my own, and this is the ones I made just for my personal self. I don't sell these, sorry. And so this one is a lot bigger. Now since I'm Mystic Flower, I love to put flowers on a lot of stuff, and so I have put embroidery flower on it. I wrapped it in leather. And then I actually got, for the handle, what I made it myself. I just got a painter's brush, cut it down, and then put it all together. So this is this is a turkey feather, and this is another one that I made, and it's a lot larger, as you can tell. And the reason why is because it will fan much bigger areas. So with this, I actually would use it around the house. I would use the bundle, the big bundle, and fan it around the house. Now with the feather fan, the reason I love the feather fan so much is because if I go to a meeting and there's people, when we do certain ceremonies, we would sage before entering the circle. And it could be on a drum circle, it could be a spiritual meeting. And so we would sage outside, you know, the person from top to bottom. And the reason why is so you present yourself clear, and that way if you also have any negative attachment, any negative spirit that have attached, that way they won't enter into the circle. It be cleansed and cleanse off of you before entering the circle. So there is people that are allergic to certain smell, or just don't resonate with the strong smell. I would actually use a feather fan and fan them instead of applying the sage. Now the reason why is because the feather fan help cleanse your aura. And so a lot of the health problem could be help with a cleansed aura. So that I encourage the cleansing of the aura, and I'll just review a little bit what the aura is. So the aura is the energetic field that is around your body. Now that aura changes in color based on your mood also. It could change on your mood. If you're very low mood, you produce a gray aura. Now I know a lot of people don't see this. I occasionally do see aura. I actually have no control when I see aura. I could sense aura under control, meaning that when I'm willing to want to sense the aura, I could scan it and sense it. But when I see it physically, I could see people sometimes light up in different colors. And so when I know when I have seen gray cloud, it's been around people, sometimes they have depression or they're very negative people. They produce an aura that radiates certain colors. And if they're healers, I have seen in healers sometimes have light up bright magenta in the hands. They have light of green for good healers and stuff like that. So that's one way. Cleansing, having a feather fan is fantastic. I recommend to everybody and anybody to add this something to your home. I do mine a little bit fancy because I put my work into it. So for me, it has meaning to me. And not only that, when I'm not using it being as large as this item, I leave it out for display, you know, around my home. So it's lovely for me to look at it, and it makes it more accessible to have it around and easy to get to. So that's the reasons you would use a fan, would be basically to fan the smoke in the area. But I do recommend even for just cleaning your aura. And so now when you want to turn off your sage bundle, there is several ways to do it. And the most traditional one is to use an alabaster bowl. Now, the reason they use alabaster bowl is because with the burning of the sage, you're working with the fire element. And so with the alabaster bowl, is actually you're replicating the water element. So you're taking the fire element, and then you dust it into it, or you put it into it to turn off the fire with the water element. That's the reason they've been using an alabaster shell. Now, alabaster shell, again, is not something that you commonly find in your local supermarket. So this would definitely be an item that you might need to order on the internet. And so now I have another other ways that you could turn off the flame or the burning smudge is a little bit more modern. And I have here one of my favorite pottery, and this is a llama. It's so adorable. And inside what I have is sand. And so what I would do is I would take it and just dip it in there, and it would turn off the fire. Now you don't want to use water. You don't want to run it on the water running, because it will make it soggy. And then next time that you would try to light up, you're wondering what's going on, this ain't working. And so you definitely will want to use either an alabaster bowl if you want to keep a tradition. And not only that, it helps catch some of the dust particle or the smoke particle, you know, the burn particle. It'll help cast it there. And so that's a nice traditional way. But since I like to do things a little bit more modern, this is my favorite pottery. And so you might use a pot dish that could withstand high temperature and not get burned. And you could get sand. You could actually buy sand at Walmart. They do sell you a bag of sand in their craft area where they have floral. You are able to buy sand. But if you live near a beach, go grab a mug or a cup and bring some home and use it to turn it off. I like this method the best. And so this is a nice way, because I could leave this out, showcase it beautifully, and I could just leave it there if I want it, and when I'm ready, I'll take it out of there and have it ready. So it's a wonderful way of doing it. A lot of people don't know that the sand, they also have white sand. So you could also use the white sand and then do maybe a colorful container for it. So that's one fine. Now I'm gonna let you know that they use sage for spiritual for spiritual cleansing. And so also because the smell of sage work on your mind, and it could also help with your emotional state. As you have a calmer mind, you'll be less stressed out. You'll being calm, that's why you will meditate, to calm your mind. And so with the smell of certain herbs, it stimulates thoughts in your mind. And so I'm gonna now move on to some of the other ones that I have here. And the next one I'm gonna tell you about is gonna be cedar. And cedar has a different smell than sage, but it does actually similar to the sage. It is considered sacred in the Native American as far as the tree. And so you also will use it for cleaning and burning, and you apply the same technique. And then after that, I'm gonna move on actually to one of my favorite, which smells fantastic, and that is sweetgrass. Now sweetgrass, you're able to find it braided. This is, and they come long. This stuff lasts forever. Oh my goodness, I have had this for years. And so with sweetgrass, it smells fantastic. They also call it, they have more than one name for it. It's also called holy grass, and it's also called vanilla grass. And so with this, it's a little bit harder to keep lit up. So with that, what I would do normally is I light up on a little tea light candle, and I keep it lit up there, and I just hold it there, blow it to burn, and now that it's throwing the smoke, oh, and you guys, this smells fantastic. At least I like the smell of it. And so, and you apply it after cleaning. So you will actually do your cleaning with your sage first. This you would do it to seal in sweetness into you. So when you want good things to happen to you, you know, or good luck to happen to you and sweetness, this is what you would use. But it doesn't actually substitute the cleansing. So I do the cleansing first, and then I would do sweetgrass when I want sweetness into my life. And so again, the best way to light that up is through a tea light, blow it, let the smoke. And with this one, you have to constantly light it because it turns off really fast. But again, you can find this on the internet. The reason you don't want to use you could use it, but then you'll be burning a lot of lighter liquid for it when you could just keep a tea light on. So sweetgrass, that's another one that's fantastic, and you could have many different collection at home of different smudge items that you could smudge. You could stick to one, or you could have as many as you like. You know, like I like to do different ones for different occasions. And so we did the sweetgrass, we did the cedar. Let's do mugwort. And I'll write the name below, so when you want to Google it and search some for yourself, you're able to do so. So this one is quite interesting. This is a very powerful smudge, and it actually, when you light it, it smells like pot. They call this the dream weed, and you will use it to induce vision. So you could light this up and do it around your bed before going to sleep, and request to have a dream of significance. And so this is used also for shamanic vision quests. This is quite powerful. I don't use this too often because I already get vivid vision, and if I use this is like putting me on steroid. So this is very powerful one, and it's called Mugwort, and it's to induce vision quests, to induce stronger dreams, and I highly recommend this one to add to your collection. Then I'm gonna talk about one that is probably practiced a little bit more in South America. I am from the Caribbean, from the lovely island of Puerto Rico, and so we use actually tobacco. Native American also use tobacco, but in my country and some of the South American country, they use tobacco. The way they do it is they actually would smoke it themselves and smoke it around the house, and they would smoke it in petition to spirit for what they would want. Say they want a job, say they want a loved one, you know, something that they what their heart desire, and they want spirit helpers to help them achieve their goal. And so you were smoking in part of petition. And so you could buy expensive ones or 99 cents tobacco cigar. And so, but the only downside about that, I don't use this very often at all, and the reason why is because it attracts lower level spirits that are addicted to tobacco, that likes the smell of tobacco. And so that is one way of also smudging, is through tobacco and having it that way. I actually prefer to use roses or flowers because that's the kind of spirit that I want to attract, the ones that like the beauty of a flower, that likes the smell of a flower. And then with flowers, especially the one I have featured here, which is a beautiful red rose, is that it applies the divine feminine aspect. And the divine feminine aspect is all about nurturing and love. And so with flowers, what I would do is I actually take the leaves apart and I do a combination with sage. So I would take my sage bundle and I take the flower and wrap it around the sage. Then I use the core and I wrap the core all around, and I will burn both the flower and the sage together. And I'm using my tea light here. And I use it together. So you could do a bundle, a combination of sage with other flowers, petals. But I prefer the red rose because of what it symbolizes. The red of passion, of love. And I want love and care to be put in my atmosphere, in my life. It's all what it represents, you know. A lot of it is coming from inside, but the plant has so much property value to it that it's wonderful to work with these. And so I love flowers. And so I'm gonna move on to one that a lot of people don't know they could use, and they might already have this around their home in the kitchen, and that is actually bay leaf. And you will burn it the same way. Again, I love using the tea light because it's a lot easier. See how it goes in flame? And then that little smoke that comes around. They have done research that if you burn bay leaf for 10 minutes, as little as 10 minutes, it has an effect on your mind. It has a calming effect and an alertness effect. So this one I would recommend if you're meditating, to burn some bay leaf. Now bay leaf, I'm gonna be honest, it doesn't smell as good as any of the others here. It has more of a medicinal effect on the brain. It's the only one that has both a relaxing and an alertness. And that's something that you want when you're meditating. And so I would recommend doing a bay leaf burn. And all it takes is one leaf. And you don't necessarily have to do a bundle at all. With a little amount of leaf is all it takes. All you need is a little bit of smoke when you're doing it on a personal self. Also, you could apply it if you're studying for college or any study or book. Even if you're reading a book, burn a little sage, and you'll notice that you'll have more mental alertness. So that's one that could be used, bay leaf. And then I'm gonna move on to some of the stick, and it's cinnamon stick. Now, cinnamon stick is really hard to light up, but it's well worth the effort. The cinnamon stick has a high vibration energy. And so again, I rather use the candle light, and I leave it until I start seeing it lights up. Oh, and the smell is wonderful. Now the smell is very reassurance of security. That's what the effect it gives you. It's very grounding. So when you need grounding, cinnamon stick, I highly recommend doing it with cinnamon stick, and it's worth the effort. It does take a little bit longer to light, but it's worth the effort. So with cinnamon stick, there's another one, and this one comes from South America, and it's called Palo Santo. And Palo Santo is the strongest smelling of all the ones I'm talking about here. Is a very strong smell. It smells wonderful. And Palo Santo, again, you would light it just like the cinnamon stick, but this one is easier to light up. Palo Santo, I use it after cleansing. I'll cleanse first with sage, and then I will use this after if I'm wanting healing. So if I'm wanting healing from an ailment, and excuse my English because I do have an accent, and so when I have an ailment or one cleansing, I do the cleansing first, then I do the Palo Santo for healing purposes, and I do it just from top to bottom. And with this one, again, you will have to relight over and over again because it's going to try to turn itself off. And so and then when I do want to turn off and I can't, then I'll just dump it into my little container of sand, and that'll turn it off. But Palo Santo, I highly recommend as cleansing, after cleansing, healing, because it will seal in the healness. So if you did a healing section on a person, do Palo Santo afterward. If they don't have any sensitivity to smell, because this one is it is a strong smell, but it smells wonderful. It is a nice strong smell, and so I will use it to seal in the healing into their body. So this is Palo Santo, and you are able to get that on the internet. Sometimes you'll even find it on the health food store. So that's another tip. Now we did the rose, Palo Santo, bay leaf. Oh, one of my favorite, and that's lavender. A lot of people don't know that you could use lavender for burning and doing smudging. And so with lavender here, I have some lavender that was just collected off the field, where I live here in Washington. It grows nicely, but if you're not able to, you are able to order it online. And so the same thing, I could take one apart, burn it individually, and smudge myself with it. And so I would use lavender whenever you want to release the mind of negative thinking, relaxes you. It smells wonderful. A lot of people already know how lavender smells, but if you use it as a smudging, it smells wonderful. Now, I use a single stem when it's just for myself. Now, if I wanted to do my house, then I could do it as a bundle, and I will burn it like that. Now, you definitely will want to use a bowl, so when the ashes start coming down, the bowl will collect this. So that's the great use of alabaster to do that with. So, and with the lavender, as a wand like this, you could use it without lighting it up. You could use it to fan yourself, just like if it was the fan. And the thing about it is, as you're doing it, is not only does it smell wonderful, but it also works with your aura feel. And so that is the 10th one of all the collection of different items that you could smudge with. Hopefully you have learned to use some new technique that you may have not known before, and I encourage you to experiment with others items that you could smudge. You could look up in the internet, and you could find probably a lot more than I have mentioned here. And so Um, Hopefully you enjoy this, and for me it was a pleasure to do this video. You have a wonderful day. Take care.